My own father looked across the expensive restaurant table and dismissed my entire existence with a single wave of his hand. He told the wealthy woman sitting next to my brother that I was a permanent work in progress who could not handle the real world. That was the moment I realized my family would always see me as a shadow. My name is Natalie and I am 29 years old. For my entire life I was the quiet one in a family that only cared about noise and status. My parents built a massive investment firm in the city and my older brother Preston was the golden child who followed them. They measured human value in country club memberships and luxury cars. I did not want their lifestyle because I wanted to build something original from nothing. I started my own logistics software company from a tiny corner of my cold apartment. My days were filled with bitter coffee and sleepless nights spent writing code while my family assumed I was failing. They saw my cheap clothes as proof that I could not cut it in business. They loved me but they were deeply ashamed of my quiet life. We were gathered at a luxury dining room because Preston was celebrating his engagement to Adrienne. Adrienne was a powerful senior partner at a massive venture capital firm and my parents worshipped her. They booked a private room to impress her where the air felt thick with arrogance. The dinner felt like a corporate takeover rather than a happy family celebration. My father began boasting about the latest financial deals of Preston while my mother praised the investment skills of Adrienne. I sat silently pushing food around my plate feeling completely invisible to everyone. Suddenly my mother turned the spotlight on me and told Adrienne that I was still playing around with my little computer projects. Her pitying smile felt worse than a slap. Preston chimed in with a smug smirk and offered to get me an internship answering phones at their firm just to teach me professional skills. Adrienne looked at me with genuine curiosity and asked what kind of platform I was developing. Before I could answer, my father laughed and said it was a boring little hobby that did not matter. They talked about me like a lost child. When the expensive bill arrived, my father pulled out his black card with a theatrical flourish. He looked directly at me and told me not to worry about the cost because I needed to save my pennies for rent. This was the continuation of a lifetime of exclusion. Just 1 month earlier they threw a massive summer party and hid it from me entirely. I only discovered that party when I saw photos of my family celebrating on social media. When I called my mother, she casually claimed they did not want to overwhelm me with high-level business conversations. They wanted to protect their polished brand from my perceived mediocrity. 3 days before this dinner, Preston even offered to wire me money so I could buy a presentable dress. My brother wanted to ensure his struggling sister did not ruin the perfect image he was selling to his new fiancé. What my family did not understand was that my apparent failure was actually a secret success. While they played golf, I was holding midnight meetings with developers. I was quietly closing a massive funding round with international investors who saw the global value of my work. My family thought I was building a simple game, but I was designing an advanced supply chain network. 3 global shipping conglomerates were actively bidding on my platform, which was called Apex Systems. I was bound by a strict non-disclosure agreement until the final contracts were signed. The night Preston offered me charity money, my company valuation officially surpassed the value of the firm of my father. Back at the restaurant table, the atmosphere was incredibly suffocating. Adrienne was the only person who actually paid attention to me, and she asked about the market gap my platform addressed. My parents shifted uncomfortably because they did not understand modern technology. Preston laughed nervously and told Adrienne not to grill me because I was not in their league. The breaking point arrived when my mother sighed and expressed hope that I would find a stable husband to pay my bills. Adrienne stopped smiling and placed her fork down with a loud clink. She looked closely at my calm face and a spark of sudden recognition appeared in her eyes. Adrienne leaned forward and asked for the exact name of my business. I met her intense stare and told her the company was called Apex Systems. Adrienne froze completely and the entire room fell into a heavy silence. She was no longer just a polite fiancée but a ruthless Silicon Valley investor. She repeated the name Apex and asked if my initials were translated to the mysterious founder known as the ghost of the industry. My father offered a confused laugh but Adrienne completely ignored him. She turned to Preston and revealed that her firm had been desperately trying to secure a meeting with me for 8 months. She slammed her phone onto the table, displaying a major financial article about a $40 million invisible unicorn company. The name of the founder was printed clearly in the first paragraph. Adrienne pointed at the screen and asked my family if this was the little project they were mocking. The face of my father turned completely white like a stone statue. My mother gasped silently and Preston stared at the phone in absolute horror and jealousy. All of their cruel insults and condescending offers of charity suddenly became ridiculous. My father tried to stammer an excuse. Adrienne coldly reminded him that he never bothered to ask about my life. For the very first time in my existence, my family had absolutely nothing to say. I did not raise my voice or cause a scene. I simply placed my napkin on the table and stood up. I smoothed down the dress that I bought with my own independent wealth. I told Adrienne it was a true pleasure to meet her and suggested her team contact my assistant on Monday to discuss the investment. I looked at my stunned family and told them I had an early board meeting. I walked out into the cool night air feeling the old hierarchy crumble behind me. They did not lose a daughter that night because they lost me years ago.